good morning, good day to you, as usual, wherever and whenever. You listen to this series of knowledge seekers from Keshe Foundation Space Institute. As usual, we welcome you back, and we try to explore the world of creation through the science of the space, how the cosmos works, and how us as humans, for thousands of years and centuries, thinking that the Earth is the center of the universe, and we have found ourselves more or less at the end of the road. What's interesting for us as knowledge seekers is to understand the behavior of magnetic field, is to understand the connection of magnetic field, to understand how magnetic fields travel from one point in the universe and unicos to another, what causes them to move, what creates a condition for them to travel. As we said, the universe is a plasma, and depending on how one pushes one corner of it, creates a wave, that wave becomes manifestation of physicality of it. Now think very simply, if the soul of the man is the plasma, and the creation of the emotion of the field, which is a collection of the fields of the plasmas which has made it to become that single central field, what pressures these, what impression these single cells exert on the plasma of the soul, that in creating that wave to manifest the physicality of it, leads to the physicality manifestation of the physicality of the man. In a way, we set the ocean, you put a pressure on it, atmospheric or whatever, and that pressure manifests itself on the shore in respect to the resistance, magnetic field of the solid state of the shore, a wave, magnetic field, manifestation of physicality out of the plasma of the ocean. Then, if that understood, we then understand how our physicality is created by the impression of the field of the soul of the mother, by impression of the field of the soul of the cells which has come in from the father as egg and sperm, and in division and collection, they press on this newly formed plasma, which in a way, on pushing its limit, it changes from the what we call the cell, collection of the cells, to the dimension of physicality of the man, the shape, the color of the eye, and the rest of it. In a way, we are an impression of the field of the created, which is our mother, which is closest to us, the soul of the what we call presence of the father in the dimension of the sperm, which once created, still waving, still pushing in the structure of the totality, that in the interaction with the fixed dimensions of the planet Earth leads to two hands, two arms, the eyes, and the rest of it. So the dimension of the expansion of the fields on the soul leads to manifestation of the physicality of the man, the way the wave was made on the ocean. Then we understand one thing, that the field strength of the creation of the cells, in a way, in division and in addition, shows, manifests the impression of the intention of the emotion in creating that physicality. So when it comes to the point, is the wave of the collective soul of physicality on the soul of the man, which releases the fields of the soul with the interaction of the womb of the mother, which the mother's soul is part of this impression, dictates our shape. So as the mother has two legs and two arms and whatever, we replicate that impression and the pressure. Isn't this the reason why in so many cases now the scientists say this and this is similar to that and the mother and the child are the same? Or is it actually the pressure on the soul which leads to the creation of that? And then, as everything else, man finds a way to translate this emotion into the dimension of the DNA and the rest of it that he can understand, justify his knowledge. Till very recently, we never had a knowledge of what the DNA was and what RNA is and the rest of it. But if this structure we have accepted to be correct, then there has to be, because we are part of the bigger structure, the DNA of the universe, a RNA of universe, and where we fit is part of the cell of this structure, which is our galaxy, which is our universe, which is our solar system, and our planet are created out of the intention and the fields exerted on this, what we call the plasma of the soul of the creator. Then one point arises that if this wave in this ocean leads to manifestation of physicality of the, what we call the structure of the field strength of the wave which manifested it, then life has to be not exclusivity of this planet. As the exertion of the fields of the, what we call the totality of the cells of the universe, with interaction with the field strength of what we call resistance of the planetary galaxy and the rest of it, leads to creation of life. Is the essence of the creation of life. This is why I made man and every other creature in the universe as an image of me. Once we understand this, the only difference comes between the race of the man and the race of the other creatures, which are created through the same span and expansion of the fields and interaction and resistance with the, what we call entities which are previously created, or the fields which are on emotion, confirms that life is not exclusivity of this planet, as the waves have been created through the expression, impression, and interaction of the collection of the fields which are within this plasma of the universe. So life, for sure, once we understand this, cannot be, is impossibility to be exclusivity of this planet. And by the same order of magnitude is not exclusivity of this universe, that in every universe in the unicosmos there is life. There is existence. It's the confirmation of the field interaction of the totality on its environment, which confirms the creation, the confirmation of the existence, and what we call life. But once we understand this, we have to understand what is the common denominator in confirmation of life in the universe and unicos. And if we find that common denominator, we all can transmute from one strength to another, from one universe to another. We transmute from one star to another, and the whole universe is transformable. We have to find that common line. That line which comes from the field strength of the, what we call the master plasma, what we call the creator of the creators. We believed in God, which is the creator of our life, our universe, but our God, our universe, is part of collection of universes. Then we have to justify, we have to find a new definition, the creator of the kidney God, the creator of our universe, and the creator of the body which contains that kidney, or the totality of the plasma, which is the creator of the unicos. So If we are a cell as part of a kidney, then who owns that kidney? Which animal, which structure, which life that kidney belongs to? And then we have to find that common denominator that connects all the cells of the kidney, the liver, and everything else together, which connects us to the other creations of the Creator and the bigger Creator for every single one of us. So now we have to find a third dimension that not only connects us to this universe, but we find a connection that is connecting us to the unicos. Then we can travel the span of universe. Then we don't need these obsolete flying systems, which now even to us, the guy called 3I looks so advanced. If it was, it could not have taken the dimension of physicality. It just knows how to play with the field of the universe and the unicos. Then man does not need, as we see in this little chap, we are amazed by it, that what it does, if it is a flying object from another position in the universe with a little bit more intelligence, why has this guy taken him 3 months, 4 months just to go around the sun in such a small solar system as Earth? Whatever happens in the next few months, in the next few weeks, that we come across, or happen that we come across, it happen that we have to interface with the creatures, if they are, with the life, if they are of with 3I or the 2R, they're not that much clever than us. Just because you have learned and you've been in a society when there is a car and you are used to the donkey, does not make you another race. Still the same human, educated a little bit more, has gone to the city and has learned to drive a car, doesn't need a donkey. Where man and the knowledge of present time is on the donkey. And these guys are the citizens of the same country, the same universe as us, but they're driving a car. And I'm sure there is more advanced knowledge, there is more understanding races which have created that magnetic field, that wave, that when they look at the 3I, they say is a donkey. Where man to them is so advanced. Then you understand what field pressure you have to exert on the plasma of the universe, on the plasma of the unicos, to create that shallow wave, wave of, let's say, 10 feet tall, or a wave of 100 feet tall, with the strength of so that is just on the shore, or is a splash on the shore, or become a tsunami that it washes the whole of the shore. This knowledge is still in the dimension of physicality. Mankind has to find out. You've been trained as a knowledge seekers, if you understand it, to travel with the speed of the pressure which created that wave. Then, if you do that, you can travel the span of the universe and the unicos instantaneously. In a way, you have to find out what emotion has led to creation of that wave, and the strength of the wave, the height of the wave, and manifestation of the speed of. Once mankind understand this, once you as person, as a human understand this, and you do it every day in your life, then you can transmute. As I said last time, it's like when you're enjoying a cat and then something happens and you push the cat, emotion changes from joy to regret to push. What emotion and what is the change of motion? Is that little of the wave? Is that the splash of the wave, or is that the tsunami of the wave? Which emotion creates what? If you understand this, if you can replicate this through the soul, then we understand the existence of the soul, the connection and correction of the soul. How soul is confirmed. And how, with emotion, we can create that wave. Stroke, happiness, joy, and tear. We know how to create the strong wave and the tsunami, be it in a joyful way, be it in a sad way. We cry to laugh from joy, and we cry to show our sorrow with the same face, with the same eye. It's the emotion which puts the pressure on the soul, which brings the dimension of physicality of the reaction and manifestation. Then one understands the whole existence. It depends on how the emotion is created and what time the manifestation of its existence and confirmation of its existence. I made man in the image of myself. If once we understand this, the biggest question for man is, what is the emotion of God that leads to creation of that wave, which leads to manifestation of physicality of the man, as the soul of the man is part of the structure of his field. The soul of the mother, the pressure of the soul of the mother, the pressure of the cells is that 20%. As you take energy 80% from the environment and the universe, so the fields of the creator, its emotion, its field strength of its waves, is the other percent, 80% of your manifestation, information of physicality and the soul of the man. When we always said, you take 80% of the field of life from the universe, so that field of life has already had an impression on the soul of the man. It's not just fields of physicality, but interacts with the plasma of the soul of the man. And that leads, manifests itself in the dimension of the physicality of the man in the womb of the mother, or in the society or the environment where it's manifested. If and when you understand this goes back to what we explained much, much earlier and in the past teachings. When you transmute from earth, where there is air, 1G, water and everything else, and you go on the Mars, the lung is no good. There is no air to breathe. There is no water to drink. There is no food that you can feed yourself. Then the life is zero. But by the order of the preservation of the soul, you will transform yourself into the dimension as the existence that can live on the surface of the moon, inside the moon, in its atmosphere, upper atmosphere, as a dimension of life which can repeat itself, can enjoy, and at the same time can create a wave to, for, and because of, to confirm its existence. Then it goes back to the teaching for past few weeks that emotion is the key to dimension and structure of the manifestation. What emotion did your mother go through that is pressure on your soul has led to the creation of you. Where she's 20% of, the other 80% comes from the universe. And then, which part of this 80% is the reflection of the fields of the soul of the Creator? I made man in the image of myself. As I create the fields, energy in motion, with the energy which is the mass of the man in the dimension of manifestation. Once we understand this process, once we comprehend the depth of the knowledge in respect to this process, then mankind is ready for transmutation. Does not need university education, does not need no religion, does not need no factor, but the realization and maturity of the man according to his understanding, for him to find out his position, his structure, his face and the others. And then once you understand this, The way we always spoke about the beautiful people, that they show different faces according to which energy manifests itself in them, a woman, a man, an animal, kind, and horrible, all comes to one point. What pressure the emotion puts on the soul that leads to creation of manifestation of physicality and impression of the life at that point with that soul. Even the change of behavior. I'm made man in the image of myself, because the image I create is a reflection of the emotion of the fields of my soul. Then you have to decide what field strength wave you create that impression of the emotion has led to its creation. Which means what emotion you need to create within the dimension of the soul of physicality on the soul, in that in the given dimension and position leads to creation or manifestation of its physicality. The interaction of the soul of physicality with the soul of the man leads to creation of emotion. So it's very easy to understand. If you have the emotion which you have created through the soul of physicality and the soul of the man, how you will look, how you will survive, what will be your condition on the surface of Mars, and if you carry with the same thing on the moon, it could be something else. Is, as I said, the teaching of now is said to be to bring man to understand the position dimension of the life in the universe. Why we teach this way, in such a compressed way in the past few weeks, is to make man ready if and when, and possibly not with 3i, with another cycle as becoming more cleverer, that they cannot pull wool on our eyes to see them, to understand them, and they are not what we call on their own, taking us for a fool as has been done for thousands of years. When they promised in 2025 it'll be this and that, did this set out by the passengers of the same 3i, let's say 3,000 years ago? That when I come round, the bus comes round, in 3,000 years of human, it will be this and that, and becomes a promise day. They've taken the man for a fool, because man is a fool, because man never understood the process of creation. Now, would our leaders, if comes to the point of 3i, 4i, 10i, land with us with the confirmation of life from space, would they become our God? Would we become the Bedouins of the South America waiting for the blonde man with the blue eyes to manifest itself? They gave the gold, mankind will give its soul. This is what is the maturity of time, that no one can take no one for fool, does not matter from where, which dimension and position in the universe. If and when knowledge seekers understand this point, then the knowledge seekers have matured to transmute, to transfer, to be able to be at any position, not only in their house, in their life, in this planet, on this universe, and the rest. Understanding the knowledge of creation is the gift to those who have the pleasure, purity of heart, that have managed to unravel the secret. This cannot be taught, cannot be given. I cannot give my soul to your soul for your soul to be enlightened, but I can show you how I was enlightened. I have to go on this call, Rick. Please take over. The structure we go back to is more or less to understand that what we call is in macro is in micro. What the field pressures or field impressions on the soul of the man creates the physicality of the man. Then the point is, as our creator again is a plasma, it's a collection, accumulation of the fields which have no entity, we call them plasma, till creation of the pressure, which in it releases a wave which leads to manifestation of creation of that physicality of the wave, as we see, in respect to the resistance of the environment, which creates its boundary. Once we understand this, and once we understood how the impression of the field of the soul of the mother, the impression of the field of the soul of the father as a sperm, and the collective expansion and division leads to the physical manifestation of the man, then what shape, what is the face of our universe? And in totality, how do we look? We always looked at the structure of the inside our universe. Hundreds of billions of stars, galaxies, and blah, 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 blah. Isn't it the story we say the body of the man has trillions of cells in it? And how many trillions makes the body of the man? Then how many trillions of waves have been created that has led to the creation of the stars, the planets, the galaxies, and the rest? The reason I brought this subject up of the teaching this way is, if man understands how energy, information, emotion travels, transfers, transmutes from one cell of his brain to another, which creates a reaction of physicality of the man, anger, joy, running, or whatever, then to the same measure, man can find, considering his soul as to be that cell in the structure of the bigger cell, transmute through that channel to anywhere in the universe and the universe, depending on what field strength man chooses his emotion into that point. That tuning, that field strength, that pulse, that frequency, whatever you call it, leads to, comes to, ends up with manifestation of the physicality. Then those of you who are looking for, trying to strive to transmute, understand, it's a two-way traffic, joy and sadness, laughter and cry, anger and calmness, towards who? Gravitational, magnetical. Depending on the field strength, if the gravity is more, becomes anger. When the magnetical is higher, becomes laughter. Then you understand how with emotion you create transmutation. The way you move from happiness to sadness, from laughter to cry, one reflection of the emotion, one confirmation of the physicality, then you can see how, if you understand the game that emotion plays, it would lead, is the cause, is the way, is the key to transmutation. Then it comes what pressure you exert on the soul, what pressure you create, you exert on the soul of physicality, which creates that condition of the cry, laughter, run, joy, and everything else. You have learned the transmutation between the cells, but when it comes to transmute the whole of the soul, man runs into trouble because he has not understood, he has not comprehended. It's the same process, as I say. It's the same thing, but man has chosen many words for the same thing and is confused himself in what is what and what it comes. Then it comes to the point where mankind does not need systems to transmute. Man needs understanding of the emotion to be able to transmute in any dimension as an energy, as a wave, as a field, as a mass. If we go into the extension of understanding the speed of the rotation of field strength between the cells of the body of the man, which leads to certain emotion, if we replicate that and we understand what it is, can we understand what is the feeling of our creator, which is created as part of our creation in this universe in respect to what we call the unicos? In a way, we say our universe is dynamic in the environment, but it's in an environment. Is it running away towards its creator or is running towards? What emotion carries is the reason why we see such a clashes and the hemorrhage of the galaxies with each other is the impression of the direction of the emotion which the physicality of the universe has been exerted to, or it is exerting on for in the environment of the unicos. As I said, we are here for the last time to teach, but man has to understand. So you have to learn not only how you transmute in this physical place going from London to New York, but how you go from Earth to Moon, then from this galaxy to another. You have to learn how to transmute through the emotion of the universe to the unicos. And understanding that, how you connect yourself through the emotion to the dimension and direction of the creator, which is the greater structure of the life. It's no use doing it in bits, as once we teach, it's taught by to all. Mankind and the rest of the creation has to understand how these forces come about. And in the coming up teachings, gradually we open this door. Because it's no use, otherwise it becomes this fairy tale. As you understand more and more, we open the path not only to universal, what we call transmutation, but into unicos transmutation, which means you have to learn. And then when you learn the higher, the lower, which is the transmutation of the physicality of the man, becomes child's play because you see the higher order. You understand the higher order. You see the replication of the higher, so it's not that hard. Because we try to teach you in a level of the transmutation of the soul of the man, and we see most of you have a problem. So, in a way, a decision was made. We show you the further up the ladder, that through the example, through comparison, you'll learn how to work in the lower ladder. And this will go for, and in the animosity of the totality of the man's soul within the structure of itself, with the soul of physicality. And once you understand this, and you can comprehend, you are doing what is the chain of events for the future soul, then is the truth. In a way, if we can open a dimension of understanding in a larger scale, as your soul finished with the physicality and find its position in the universe, this soul of the man, which has led to the creation of the new cycle, itself is part of the soul of the creator, is part of the plasma of the existence of the creator of this universe. And then in that structure totality, how does this soul interact with other universes, and in fact, how does it make the essence of the physicality of the creator of the creators. In a way, once you learn to walk, you can jump, you can dance, you can hike. And the process is to show you how you dance. Maybe you'll learn how to walk, which is the same. You just add something to it. You take that extra energy of the jumping from one leg to another or moving the legs faster. Just you see how the leg runs. It's the same story as I said last week. You get the beginning and the last equation. You know where you want to be. Find a way. Explain your way down the ladder. And then reverse it. And then you all come to understand, as it's been in all the teaching, the only way which man will create a new time, which is the new life, new existence, new transmutation time of what we call beginning, is through understanding the field, the strength of the emotion that leads to creation, beginning of the new starting point time. When the bell has rang for the time when the two soul of the man and the soul of physicality have to say separation from the physicality, a new time has started, new time of journey. And as plasmatic magnetic fields do not take time, is instantaneous, your soul in his position, in anywhere in this universe, and according to what has been enlightened to anywhere in Unicos, is immediate. If your soul can do, how cannot do it with your understanding of the emotion? What is the feel the strength of the emotion of the soul, which gives it the dimension and the position in the unicos and in the universe? Man needs to understand that emotion. And then transportation from A to B is the child's play, is the essence of the emotion. In today's teaching, we have set our system to create that pressure on your soul. Let's see what waves you make. In today's structure, we are not interacting with anything else but the central energy of your structure, both in the dimension of the connection of the common universal line and in the universal line, in the dimension of the physicality. How do you feel? How the session today has been? You have the yin and yin, you have the lower and higher strings. As it gives to one, takes another one. How the session has been with you. Those of you who are sitting on the other side of the panelist, what we call participants, you can see the system is running. We are teaching, we are exerting, we are making it available to you that how you decide to create that enlightenment, how you want to take that soul, where you want to take that soul. Decision is yours. We create the environment, we create the atmosphere, we create the dimension for you to decide. We have brought you both the dimension of the universal field strength, we brought to you in the very dimension of the field strength of the creator, directly in one place. In a way, your soul is that plasma of the creation, and we have brought the exertion of the field forces and the dimension of the field interaction to release, to confirm, to be able to go to any place, position, and dimension. It's you who have to create that emotion. In a way, you're sitting in a seat of transportation for past hour or so, but how many of you, consciously or unconsciously, have made a move, been somewhere? And is it coincidental, or is it have we managed to bring you to the point of transmutation by dimension of enlightenment? You feel the emotion or intention, and you carry on to deliver that. We are like the captains who delivered your soul to the position. Now you're in charge. And we give you every tool. If the knowledge seekers. If you understand the gift we have given you as a knowledge and as the field energies to support you to get to that, you will be enlightened to understand the process of the creation. And once you're enlightened, it's not just walking, you'll jump, you'll dance and enjoy the presence of the Creator's magnetic field as the interaction of the soul of you becomes that beach, and the field strength of the plasma of the Creator becomes that ocean, that the field strength of your emotion in interaction creates the manifestation of confirmation of existence. My soul interact with soul, that in that interaction leads to manifestation of your physicality. I made man in the image of myself because it comes from the field strength of my soul. Go for a break, come back, and I hope slowly, I'm opening that gap for you to be enlightened and for you to be able to take that step, walking away from the fear and making that to a joy, to be able to, and maybe, if it is possible, leads to the understanding, manifestation of the creation of the dimension of the universe.